What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. Hope you're all enjoying the holiday, staying safe out there, enjoying this Sixers game. It's all tied up, but I got to get this damn show in. Hopefully, I'll catch the end of the game, but I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time. We are live here tonight, going through this draft series. This is the second to last one, man. We got the safeties coming up on Saturday. We'll be finishing this up, but tonight we've got the cornerbacks. If you missed any of the past videos, go check those out. Would love to hear your thoughts on all of the draft prospects at each position. So tonight we're going to look at the cornerbacks in the tiers and ranks. Then we'll look at the Eagles cornerbacks. And this one I actually went with top 13 fits because, well, I could have picked 20. I was literally sitting here forever. I was like, all right, dude, I'll just create the extra graphics because, well, it's annoying the hell out of me. And I wanted to talk about some of these guys. So let's do that, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you again for tuning in. And if you're watching this later, feel free to leave your comments down below. But we'll start this off with the tiers and the ranks where I have these guys going. But obviously, I'll talk about this as we go through it. But appreciate you tuning in. And Wizzo says draft Bijan. He wants Bijan. And Sean, my man, what is going on, bro? And look, Bijan, very talented, but not sure we go there with pick 10. We've talked about it. Maybe you trade back, or maybe he's there near the end of the first and you trade up. Regardless, there's a lot of options here. So we'll see what the Eagles plan to do here. But let's talk about these cornerbacks, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you taking the time. But started off with the 7th round guys, undrafted. And look, there's some guys that could definitely go higher than that. Darrell Luter Jr. out of Southern Alabama, Alex Austin out of Oregon State, and Eric Scott. Eric Scott Jr. was actually somebody I was going to make it a top 15, and I was like, holy hell, dude. So I cut him out, but Eric Scott was almost a part of this. I really like that young man, Jeremy Lucien out of Vanderbilt there. There's a lot of guys I think you could add to this roster, post-draft, and really you'd be excited about it. We did that last year with Goodrich and Josh Jobe, and I was actually pretty excited about those additions, and Josh Jobe made the active roster. So we'll see here, man, but definitely some diamonds in the rough waiting to be had there. But then you'll look, guys I feel that will be taken a little bit earlier on day 3 there in the rounds 5 and 6. And Starling Thomas, the 5th, I think he could definitely go higher. Terrell Smith, he's a very intriguing prospect. He was another guy I almost put on my list. Same with Corey Trice. Jay Ward, an intriguing prospect, could play some safety. Carrington Valentine. I mean, Cameron Brown. There's a lot of guys here. Cottrell Clark. I mean, literally every single one. I'm like, damn, like I want to talk about this guy, but I don't want to take away from this guy. So picking who I was going to use as my fits. That's why there's 13 of them, because it literally could have been 20. Then I had it down to 15. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit here for an hour. So 13 it is. Lucky number 13. Now, let's get into the more round 3, 4. And look, some of these guys could definitely go higher than that. And Garrett Williams being one of them. That injury history, maybe that holds him back a little bit. But you've got some intriguing guys here with, Travius Hodges, Eli Ricks, Riley Moss, Darius Rush there. Now, I think Rush is very intriguing. He was another one I almost put on my list. There were so many guys that I really love from this draft. And there's still a lot that I'm about to show you. So understand that this draft is loaded with cornerbacks. So you don't necessarily have to go high. And who we brought back here. So we'll talk about that in a second. But just going through this right now. So whoever you're a fan of, you get to see where I have these guys listed. But this list right here, man, I would be thrilled with pretty much anybody on this list. And I mean, we're talking talented, and I'm going to break down a lot of these guys. So they definitely made the list, but they, for me, some of them could be taken in the first. We're going to see what kind of run goes on corners, but there are some really effing talented guys. And maybe a guy like Forbes, Smith, or Ringo, I could really see going in the first round if a team's feeling a little frisky. So we shall see. But my surefire number 1 cornerbacks here going in the first round: Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, Joey Porter Jr., and Deonte Banks. Now, Gonzalez and Witherspoon, I had them switched. Then I switched them. Then I switched them again, switched them back. And I guess to stop with Gonzalez there, I actually thought I was coming into this with Witherspoon as number 1. But regardless of how you feel, 2 different play styles. I think Witherspoon, a surefire tackler. I mean, he can do it all. We'll talk about him here in a second. But however you see these guys, 1 or 2, I think you're getting a stud no matter, which way you go, which kind of corner you're looking for there. But, we're going to talk about them here. We'll break them down. But for me, a bunch of studs right there that we just looked at and that list before as well. So maybe you don't go with the 10th pick because of what you did this offseason. And let's take a look at that with the Eagles cornerbacks, who they have. Obviously, we brought back Bradbury. Obviously, we extended, restructured Darius Slay there, cleared up some cap space, a lot of cap space. And we talked about that move happening. Thank God it did rather than him leaving. But Avonte Maddox still here. So we've got the best trio in the league. You bring in Greedy Williams. You've got Zach McPherson, Josh Jobe, Josiah Scott, and Mario Goodrich. So you've got a lot of competition there. You've got some versatile pieces that can play some safety. So that's what is going to be same with Jonathan Gannon. Sean Desai going to use a lot of multiple schemes, a lot of important pieces like defensive backs that need to be able to be versatile, play that nickel corner, the free safety, be able to move throughout the, schemes here. So we'll see who makes the roster, but you've got some damn good talent here. So doesn't need to be much of an emphasis other than the fact that you're looking at Slay and Bradbury getting a little bit older now, locked them up, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have to be on the roster forever. So look, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I said this after we brought those two back. Do not count out corner in this draft because there are a lot of studs. And if you can get somebody that can be your future corner, we finally go draft somebody, and that person gets to learn from Darius Slay and James Bradbury. I mean, holy hell. Now, I get it. A lot of people, it's like, let's take the best, skill position player. That's how it should be every draft. And it's like, that's just not how it works. And this team is building for the future, building around Jalen Hurts, and that's not just on offense. So look out for the linemen, look out for the secondary, but I don't necessarily think you have to use that 10th pick there. So we'll talk about that throughout this, but you saw the corners we have. You saw how I have these guys, but let's take a look at the top 13 best fits here because, man, again, it was hard to really just pick some of these guys because there are a lot of studs here. So probably going to leave a lot of guys out, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Emmanuel Forbes, yeah, man, he is a burner. Cannot wait. Devontae Smith, no doubt. Bijan is because he's skinny. Bijan is the only person that makes our offense unstoppable. That's not true. There's a lot of people that make this offense better, but this offense is already unstoppable. What are the odds that Bijan is available? 10, very high. Not many teams, are going to go for a running back that high, but they definitely could if they feel this is the guy for me. The Eagles, you hear people say, oh, they're not going to draft Bijan Robinson. That's dumb because they definitely could, and they love the kid. But for me, you're not going to do it at 10 if you were. Now, if you are feeling frisky, you love the dude, do it. I mean, I don't know if that's, when you're looking at pick 10, this offense is already a juggernaut. You saw you could plug and play whatever running back you want, and we were already the best offense. So it's like they are understanding of that. And, they added Rashad Penny for a reason. Kenny Gainwell is going to get an uptick in snaps. But you add somebody in the second, third, even, you trade and acquire a 4th or 5th round pick, and you add someone. We talked about the running backs. There's a lot of talent in this draft. So, look, whatever they do, a lot of options here. And I'm not against Bijan at all, but it's definitely could go a lot of ways because there is a plethora of talent here when it comes to offensive line, defensive line, the edge rushers, everything, man. So, keep that in mind, but let's jump into this. Number 13 here, Starling Thomas, the 5th. Just talked about him a second ago. As I said, I'd break it down. He's 23 years old, so, that's an old man coming out of college. But, no, honestly, this kid, I really like him. And if we're talking about, the undrafted, I always try to give you somebody, in the later rounds there who I think, I would definitely be happy to see as, a signee at post-draft. So 23 years old, 6 foot, 194. Played in 29 games in his 4 years at the University of Alabama, Birmingham. So, look, this dude, he's got the 6 foot. We like that. But he ran a 4.3840. This dude is fast as hell. You see, 74.1 QBR allowed. That's decent. But look, stats, we're taking that stuff with a grain of salt. This dude, he's just got those long arms. He's got the size and athleticism that I think would fit perfectly. He's good in the run game. I like his tackling ability. I think he has great route recognition. So somebody that I think the Eagles would be happy to get in that undrafted pool. So just look out for someone like a Starling Thomas in that undrafted pool. But that's as much as I could pick. I did have some other guys. I told you, I thought Eric Cross, a lot of guys could have definitely made this. But Riley Moss, man, you'll see. Obviously, I'm talking about right now. This guy probably around what, fifth, fourth round, maybe he sneaks into the third. There could be a lot of people that feel a certain way about this kid, but he is a ball hawk. He's fun to watch and runs a 4.45 40, 6'1", 193. But we're talking about the mid range there. So if you're not getting one of those guys that are higher on the list there, this is a guy that he's got the speed, those quick feet. I think, he's another one of those freak athletes. He made Bruce Feldman's list there. So he's somebody that I like outside. He can play a little bit inside too. But look, he's very fluid as a corner. But I think he's definitely got some work to do there. But if you could acquire this kid, I would be more than excited to see him on the Philadelphia Eagles. And look, he was a 5-year senior at Iowa this past season, and an exciting kid. He actually had 4 touchdowns last season that he gave up, and I think that you talk about his coverage ability, 75.4. He gave up 78.5. That's something he's going to have to work on a little bit. But I think for me, this is a kid that he's got a lot of promise. His athletic ability, that's just something, you can move him all around. Maybe try him out at free safety, but all over the place. You can use him as a blitzer. I would be excited if the Eagles added him in one of those mid rounds. Maybe they pick up a 4th or 5th round pick. Now, up next, number 11, Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami, Florida. And look, this is another dude that you're going to see guys that I think it's really going to depend on how this, draft is going here. But a 4.4540 guy. And this dude, I think, definitely going to at least no way he goes past the third. I think definitely could go in the second. Some people I've heard talk about him in the first. I don't know all about that. 6 foot, 198. So he's got good size, 74.9 QBR allowed there. But this is another kid, man. And he is one of those guys that looks like the corner's supposed to be. He's 6 foot, nice build, good ball tracking. He's physical. And man, I think, you want one of those guys that can do that press coverage, because I think we're going to use that a little bit more at times. A lot of zone, but look, I think, we all talk about the match zone, how that works, the concepts there. I think this kid, he would be able to come in. He's got great arm length. So somebody that not exactly the fastest. He has a good 40, but I think that poor tackling was something I noted here too. But for me, needs to work on his hands. And hey, I think another guy that I would definitely be excited if the Eagles added. I like this kid a lot, but I like a lot of these guys. So I'm going to try to keep this trade moving. At number 10 here, we've got Julius Brents. Now, this dude, this just goes to tell you how crazy of a deep class this is. The fact that this dude's number 10, because I'd love to effing have this dude. And I think that he's going to go in the second, no later than the third. This kid, man, you see the QBR allowed there. I mean, that's great and everything, but 6'3", 198 pounds, and he runs a 4.5340. But his vertical, his broad jump, his 3-cone were amazing at the combine. This dude, he is a stud. I think his nickname's Juju, but we're not calling him that. So I think he's got great speed and explosiveness for his size. It's insane. He's got great straight line speed. Go check him out, man. He is seriously somebody that you watch him. Not only has he got the speed, but he goes up and gets the ball. That's something that, he uses his body and run support. He does things that we're looking for with a big bodied guy. And, his ball tracking, everything he does, to me, he would be a perfect addition. And, I think, again, you don't have to go after a corner, but if you add a big body guy that can go against some of these dudes, you put him in the slot, maybe against some of these tight ends, these bigger bodied receivers that are in the slot nowadays, this kid, holy shenanigans. I would definitely like to see this kid. Now, he, again, needs some work here. His back pedal was something I noticed that he needs to work on. He gets his ankles broken at times, but look, his field awareness, he's out of position a lot of times. I think that, this kid, he's exciting to me, though, because of that size. We talked about Tariq Woolen last year. This is kind of what he reminds me of, and he's got that size and athletic ability. Him turning around, getting the ball, something he needs to work on. I think he would be a stud, though. You add him to this defense, holy hell, send him on blitzes, whatever you want to do. But this guy, oh, yeah, give me some Julius Brents. And, I mentioned it, the fact that you can line him up all over the place. And, not so much of a safety. I know you see 6'3", like, oh, he's a big dude, but telling you, he can work a little in the slot, but he's a great outside guy. You can blitz him. And I think, in at the next level, people are going to try to maybe use him a little more on the inside because of that. So on the Eagles, we would love to have that. Clearly, Avonte Maddox a little bit smaller. So in certain packages or, certain matchups, you could use a kid like this. So love me some Julius Brents. Now, up next, holy hell, DJ Turner. This kid. Now, if you want to go watch some fun tape, watch just straight burner. That's DJ Turner. And I didn't even mean to do that. But 4.2640 for the love of God. You got to be kidding me. A 62.1 QBR allowed. That's pretty amazing. And I think this kid could go in the second round. I mean, we're talking about another one of those freak athletes where, I think he made that Bruce Feldman list as well. He's just somebody that, you look at him for his size, 5'11". Okay, he's 178. That's clearly a little skinny, but I don't care. Clearly, I talked about this when we got Devontae Smith. I don't give a damn. This dude can put on some beef and we'll get him up to speed. We've got Slay. We've got Bradbury. We had the luxury of letting these kids come along. So he's got that fluidity, the speed. He's got great feet. I think this is somebody that, he's a smart kid. This is somebody the Eagles, man, I think he would be fantastic to have just because of the fact that, he's fast as hell. Now, speed isn't everything, and we talk about that all the time, but they only used him a couple times at Michigan as a return man. Didn't really do much, but I think, maybe you give him a shot there. You just use kids like this. You try to find, their ability with this kid. He's really fun to watch for me. And look, he's somebody that can play outside. He can play inside. He can play a little bit of safety. He's got that versatility that we are looking for. Now, up next, this is a kid from Maryland, but it's not that one you're thinking. This one, oh, yeah, Jacorian Bennett. Not going to lie to you, man, he was really fun to watch. And I really fell in love watching him when I was watching Deonte Banks. And, I kept getting twisted. I'm like, oh, wait, that was Jacorian Bennett. What the hell? So this kid, really fun to watch. You see 64.3 quarterback rating allowed there. So this kid, I think, if you acquire one of those middle round picks, a 4th, 5th, he falls. Maybe, I don't think he falls to the 7th. But again, we talk about Howie. We're just imagining that he does get one of those picks. I think this kid would be, oh my God. He ran a 4.340, 5'11", 188. So he's got a little bit more weight on than the last guy. But dude, this kid is fun to watch. And look, I think, his hips get a little stiff. His ankles get broken as well. Last time we were talking about. But I think those are things that are teachable. The things that aren't, this dude will knock your lights out. He's a big hitter, and I love that. He's a freak athlete again. But somebody that, he goes up and gets the ball. I think being a playmaking guy, he plays in that zone that we talk about. I think that this kid, if you could acquire him, if you get one of those kind of picks in that 4th, 5th round, I would be ecstatic about Jacorian Bennett because this kid is really fun to watch. If you missed him watching Banks, go check this dude out. Last year, the passer rating against him was 47.5. I mean, this kid is a stud, and this is somebody you can line up all over the secondary, outside, inside. He was used in the box as a box safety. He hits so damn hard. So, yeah, this is a very versatile defensive back, and this was somebody that would fit perfectly. I almost put him higher on the list, but you've got some guys coming up here that we're going to talk about. But this kid, I'd love to have him. Do not get me wrong. I truly, truly would love to have him. So up next, this dude, potential first-round talent. And I really like Keely Ringo. And I know a lot of people definitely let it be known that they were not fans of him when the Eagles visited with him. So, look, the one thing about him, he's definitely very stiff. It's something I did notice. People want to bring that up all the time. That's fine. But he's got 4.36 speed. He's 6'2", 207 pounds, running a 4.36. 21 years old. Now, when you're stiff like that, that's not exactly something I think you can teach. So maybe some issues there. So you've heard, they've talked about moving him to safety. I think that's perfectly fine. And with this defense looking for versatile defensive backs, that's exactly what we're looking for. A freak athlete like this, I don't care where you put him, but he's great in man coverage. So if you want to use him against some of those top tight ends, the league is changing with some of these tight ends. So I think this guy with his ball skills, his coverage skills, he's great at tackling. I think he would be a good safety, but that would fit just fine into what the Eagles are doing here. He's got great length and athleticism. So at 6'2", 207, perfect fit for what the Eagles are looking for here. But I think because of his issues, he definitely, with his 29 games, only had 2 years there. I played like 14 and then 15 games. I think maybe you just need to teach him up. So I'm not saying he can't be a corner, but just that question, that's what had him a little bit lower. But man, I would not be against this. And I don't know that you have to do it at 30. I think when we've talked about trading out of that 30th pick, going back to like 38, acquiring that third, fourth, fifth, a couple more picks here. Hey, I would not be against that. Then you grab a kid like him. Hell, why not? But we've got some dudes coming up here. Up next, Cam Smith. This dude, like honestly, when I was going through all these guys, I was like, how am I going to even rank them? Because I'm not talking about, who's the best or whatever. It's just we're trying to talk about fits here. But this dude, how does he not fit? 61 quarterback rating allowed in his 32 games. He's 23, but he's 6'1", 180. So yeah, weight a little low there. 4.4, 340. So okay, he's not the fastest of guys, but he does everything very, very well. And he's somebody that, with a very high football IQ, we talk about how much this team likes guys like that. I think he's got great football instincts and another freak athlete where, we're looking for guys like that in this defense, that length, the speed, all these things I've mentioned about a lot of these guys, the good feet, everything that you need, the backpedaling things as a corner, he's got that. But things like route recognition, I think, he needs to put on some weight there at 180. I think there's definitely some things he's got an injury history, but watching this dude, it's really hard. I think he's played so damn well. And when you watch his tape, it's just like, dude, in 2021, he gave up a 36.5 QB rating. That's pretty damn good. This kid is a stud. So it's really hard not to put him, really high on a list. So anybody who gets him, especially a team like the Eagles, you give him a year or two to bulk up. He gets a couple snaps here. He plays some special teams. I would not be against that. Now, that is a lot of names right there, right? But we're going to get into the top 5 here in a second, and a lot of names there. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, who you've got. Now, we're going to get into this top 5. Remember, this is not my top 5. You've already seen how I have them ranked. We're talking about fits here, but it's also hard for me because it's like, okay, well, how would that guy not fit? You know what I mean? But it's like, okay, but where would they fit where we're drafting them? So we'll talk about that here in a second, but let me check out these comments here real quick. Offense is not unstoppable. We're struggling against Sanford. No, we didn't struggle at all. Actually, we just ran it, and we were like kicking their ass the whole game. You don't want to. I saw the media getting people twisted about that, saying, you want to go up, run the score up, get your players injured. But that's not what you want to do when you're winning by 20 plus points. You want to run the ball down their throat, methodically beat their ass. And that's exactly what we did on the way to the Super Bowl. Really like Forbes and Witherspoon. Oh, yeah, they are studs for sure, my man. Yo, dude, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you tuning in. Talking about these corners, about to get into the top 5 here, so appreciate you taking the time, my man. I know that Sixers game is on. I'm going to have to get the end of it here, but let's get through this top 5 here, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. But Joey Porter Jr., I think, dude, this kid is a stud. And, whether you have him ranked 3, 4, 5 as these guys, look, again, this isn't the ranking because I think I had him ranked 3rd. But Joey Porter Jr., anybody who gets him, you are getting yourself a stud. So you're looking at another 4.46 guy, but 6'2", 193. So damn good size for a corner. Now, take these numbers with a grain of salt. So you see the 73.7. A couple of the guys had 60. I don't really care about that, going against some tougher competition than some of those other guys. But another fluid guy with good speed, great feet. He's got that long build. And I think that, somebody with great lower core strength that actually tackles people. So you love to see that. And somebody that I think with great playmaking ability, his body control, watching him go up and get it, just watching his tackling, just everything he does, his body control. I love it. His hip movement, everything you would want from a corner, this guy has it. And look, of course, there's going to be knocks. These kids are coming out of college. And at 6'2", maybe you want a little bit more meat on the bones. But look, I think that one of the knocks is he only has one speed. He's always flying around. You got to learn to decelerate, not just accelerate at all times. But I think for me, this dude, I love his aggressiveness. So want him to keep that. He just needs some coaching. But anybody who gets him in the first round is going to be lucky. Now, if he starts falling, the Eagles see him at 30 or something, they're like, oh my God, got to take him. That's why I have him here at number 5, because it would be great. But I don't know that I want us to take a corner at 10. And I'm thinking that's more of the range he's going. Now, I think he'll go later than that, but not toward the 30, right? He's closer to 10 than he is 30. That's what I mean. So, okay, now up next, same deal. This guy, probably the best corner. It really depends on how you feel. Now, I kind of feel like the next guy I'm going to talk about is the best, but regardless, Christian Gonzalez. Oh, my Lord. When he transferred, over to Oregon, I think this is somebody that made a correct decision, because it's not that, he was bad at Colorado, but he got a chance to shine there. And for me, this is another dude that, holy hell, but he's the whole package, man. And you can play him throughout the secondary. Another guy, they actually used him some in the box at Oregon. So really versatile piece here. I like Christian Gonzalez. Not as tough as I'd like him to be on this team, especially if you were going to take him. That's why he's as the 4th, because of course he'd be an amazing addition, but we've already got starting corners here. 4.38 speed. The dude is fast as hell. I love his game. If you don't know who he is, you better go check him out. Another freak athlete with great speed, great ball tracking. This dude, he's got the football IQ, the great instincts. I just think that anybody who's going to be lucky, we talked about he or Witherspoon, whoever you get here, this dude is going to be a stud. Now, only had that one great year there, but I think that he has shown enough that this dude is going to be a damn good corner. He gets beat sometimes by the double moves, but a little bit of coaching, I think he'll be just fine. And he's about to be 21, but this kid, man, he's awesome. And I think that anyone would be lucky to have him. Now, up next, number 3. This would be, and this is how I felt before we brought back Bradbury and Slay. I would have happily taken Witherspoon at 10. I think Devon Witherspoon is effing amazing. And look, 4.45 speed, so not as fast as, some of the top guys we talked about, 6 foot, 181, so a little undersized. But if you watch this effing dude, he is Philadelphia. Like, he just has that toughness to him. Everything I felt last year watching him, it was just like, damn, I would love to have this kid. His man coverage, I know we didn't use it much last year, but I think, the match zone concepts are going to be used, and I think he would be perfect in this scheme here. And I think he'd be perfect in anything. You can play him inside, outside. This dude, honestly, if you were lacking anywhere, you could just put him there. And look, he didn't play too much deep safety, but he played in the box. They had him all over the place, blitzing inside. They had him outside, just doing it all, man. And last year, he gave up a passer rating of 25.3. You see 44 QBR allowed there. I mean, holy hell. This kid had a pretty damn good career at Illinois. And, man, whoever gets him is getting a stud. His 4 years there, he proved to me that by his 4th year at the end that this kid is, and whether you want to argue with, whoever about he or Christian Gonzalez, doesn't matter to me. You're getting a stud either way you go here. So give me some Devon Witherspoon. And look, I think even if they would take someone at 10 and corner and it surprises everyone, look, they get to learn from Slay and Bradbury. So for me, that's a win-win, baby. Now at number 2, this dude, oh, hell yeah, Emmanuel Forbes. This is one of my favorite dudes to watch here. And look, you're going to hear some knocks on him, but he's 166, so he's clearly very skinny, 6'1". But here's the great part. If he were to come to the Eagles, he would not have to play right away, right? So you bring in a kid that gave up a 61.9 passer rating. I mean, he's got great length there. You look at him, he's a long dude, and he's perfect for this scheme. He did great in his zone coverage. He's got elite effing speed, though, man. We talk about having that 4.35 speed. This is a guy that's got it. Then you see I added a category there for touchdowns, 6 of them. He has the most in FBS history, and I think that's pretty effing insane. Or I'm sorry. Oh, I messed that up. That's the next guy. My bad. But he had 3 last year, I believe it was, right? At Mississippi State. So look, dude, holy shenanigans. You're watching this kid's tape and you're just thinking, man, would I love to have him on the Philadelphia Eagles? And that, honestly, that's why I had to go with 13 of these dudes. And this is another versatile defensive back. Didn't play too much in the slot, outside guy, but hey, maybe a little bit of box safety, maybe not too much deep guy, but maybe you use him as one of those chess pieces we have talked about. And I think for me, sign me up for some Emmanuel Forbes. This dude is an effing ball hawk. We talked about his size and, being small. He still goes up for the contested catch, man. This dude is much stronger than he looks, and he's got that fluidity we talked about with most of these guys and the football IQ, the instincts. He's got that. He is a true ball hawk, and I think Sean Desai would love to have someone like that. And Emmanuel Forbes, I think for me, he's got first-round talent, but again, we talked about, trading back out of that 30th pick. I don't know that he falls in the second to us, but maybe you have to trade up, whatever it is. We would be lucky to have a young man like this. Now at number 1, Deonte Banks. And I do believe he just had a visit with the Eagles. And, wow, that got me pretty effing excited because, well, this dude, 4.35 speed, 6 foot, 197. So he's got great size, right? He's got that prototypical size we're looking for here. He is another ball hawk. He is somebody that is actually great, really great at tracking the ball. And I think, his route recognition, all those things combined, that's what make him such a good corner. He's actually one of those guys that another guy I feel could be part of that press movement we're talking about. And him being such a great athlete, he's able to do that, stick with these guys, but 6 foot. And I've seen him listed as 6'2" at times, but I don't really know. So we're going to give him 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", but he's a great size for me. He definitely looks taller than 6 foot, but this is what they had him listed as. So not going to, change that. So whatever, but somebody that's great in run support. But he's just somebody I feel for me, I would add him to this roster because, he's just a burner. This kid can stick with anybody. And I think with the right coaching, he is somebody I would love to see on this team. We talked about that IQ. We talked about everything, but he's actually got short arms. We talked about his height. So maybe that's why they think he's so short. I'm not sure, but he's actually not too good when you talk about his zone coverage. From what I saw, he's not exactly great at it. So it was hard for me to say that he's the best fit. But for me, the reason that I call him the best fit is because I don't want to see us using that first, and I don't want to see it at 30. So if you trade back, if you use that pick somewhere else, I think this guy, if you could get him in the second round, you use your second round pick on him, that is the best fit for the Eagles, not using one of those first rounders. So this is a guy I feel you could get with that pick. That's why I have him listed as the first. But Emmanuel Forbes, I feel, goes a little bit higher. I almost had him number 1. That dude, breaking records with his interceptions, his pick sixes for touchdowns. That's pretty effing amazing. So for me, I would love to see, most of those guys on this roster. So sign me up, ladies and gentlemen. But Emmanuel Forbes or Deonte Banks would definitely be like 1A, 1B. And that was 6 pick sixes Emmanuel Forbes has had. That's the record for college football. So pretty wild. But either one, I'd be perfectly fine with. And, that's all I've got for you tonight. I'm going to get rolling out here, but I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. My man, Matt, in the building. Let's go. Hope you're doing well, Henrik. Nice to see you, dude. But look, we just went through. We talked about the corners, all that stuff. So hopefully you check it back out. Rewind this bad boy. Let me hear your thoughts. But that's awesome. Yeah, he invited me. I'm just not going to be able to make it. That's unfortunate. But, have a great time. Take some pictures, some videos, post them to the group, whatever you want to do, my man. But I appreciate you tuning in, dude. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're ready for the draft. 1 week away. Hope you're enjoying the holiday, my man. I know you will be with my brother. What is going on, Seamus, my dude? Just about to roll out, brother. But Banks looks like a low-key sleeper. He really does. So that's why I had him as the best fit over Forbes, because I think Forbes goes pretty high. Not that I'm against it. but I know they're going to go best player available. For me, I'm thinking where the holes are. I know they don't feel there's too many holes, and I don't either, but you can get better at a lot of positions. So we're going to do that in this draft. Hope you all enjoyed all that content. If you rewatch this, you've got any further thoughts, questions, whatever it may be, please feel free to leave a comment down below. But I appreciate all of you taking the time. Sixers, hope you're winning by the time I get off here. But let's go, baby. I will be back tomorrow for Fan Friday. For those of you that are members of the of this damn YouTube channel here, you can actually get your questions in. I'll make some graphics for you. We'll have the fans and myself answer them for you. For those of you who are not, you can still tune in, ask your questions. I will answer as many as I can tomorrow, but I hope to see you for Fan Friday. And then Saturday, we will be ending the draft series with safeties. And then, of course, I'll be doing my one and only mock draft, 1 point only, baby. So we'll be getting into that. We're so damn close, a week away. So I hope you're all getting excited. Hope you all enjoyed all of those videos I've been making. Every damn position has a video, so go check them all out. Appreciate you commenting. Appreciate you taking the time, but I hope you all have yourselves a great rest of your night. If you rewatch this, leave a comment down below. I'll happily talk some birds with you, but I got to get rolling here. Appreciate each and every one of you hitting that like button, subscribing, all that stuff you're doing. Thank you very much. Have a very enjoyable and safe holiday. I love you all, but until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Let's go, Sixers. Everybody have yourselves a great night. Stay safe out there, and as always, say it with me now, go Birds!